Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Today is going to be our first DIY video. I'm going to show you guys how to build a barn door the way I build it. Not necessarily the correct way to build it, but this is the way that I self-taught and this is how I do it. It is going to be made out of common wood. These are going to be 8 foot by 6 by 1 common wood. Anything that you guys might know or have a different system or different way of doing it, feel free to share. Maybe I can teach you guys something, and I would love to learn something from y'all. So here we go. Hey, you guys are still there? Cool. Glad you stuck around. All right. So step one is obviously going to be, you need to know the size of your door. So you always measure from the floor to the very top of your opening, and then you measure from inside to inside. Height, I always add an extra 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches, depending on if they have carpet. I'll do extra 3. If it's tile, hardwood, linoleum, anything that's more of a flat surface, I do 2 inches. Alrighty guys, so after we get done cutting our boards to length, we're going to come over here to the assembly table. We're going to lay them out one by one, and I'm going to make sure that there's no gaps in between these boards. So I kind of just mess around with them, play a little bit of Tetris, see if I can get my gaps closed. That's nice and tight. That's nice and pretty. So this is going to be one of those situations where I do have to get a clamp, and I'm just going to have to clamp it on down and bring them in together, which is okay. It happens. It's not the end of the world. Just get yourself some clamps and you'll be good to go. Better stay down, everybody. Hold on. Somebody help me. Stay. All right, well, this is bloopers. Here we go, boys. Oh, God. Okay. So we're going to go right across the middle here, and I got 38.5, which is just what I wanted. Planned it like that, not really, but it'll work, eh? Okay, so we're gonna do 3 boards at 38.5, and that's gonna give me top, middle, and bottom. So we're gonna go over to the back to the saw and cut those 3 cross boards real quick, and be right back. We're gonna put our first board underneath. So actually, I will do it on this side first so that you can see. So what I like to do, I'll put my bottom board at the end and kind of just scoot it up, keep everything even. Then I'll have a lip between the bottom board and my table. I'll put it right underneath there, push up, and push in. So now before I screw anything in though, I'm going to take the same length of bottom board and I'm going to put it underneath the opposite end, so that way when I'm screwing these in, they aren't at an angle, okay? So real quick and easy, I'll turn the camera so that you guys can see. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put this top piece right underneath this top end, just like I did over there. Don't do that or it'll fall, obviously. Okay. Anyway, so take your board that just fell, put it back on the end and put it back on there. Then you'll be at the step I'm at. Hopefully you avoided the falling board and learn from my mistake. So we're going to come, and I like to put my bottom board flush with the end of my table, because I know my table's square, and that'll help keep these boards square, right? So I'm going to square this up, make sure it's even on both the bottom and on the sides, and that's where I'm going to put my first screws at. I'm using 1 1/4 inch drywall coarse thread number 2 screws. And I'm just going to go right in the middle of this board. Let me rephrase. Right in the middle of our runner board, slightly to the left of your main board, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put another one slightly to the right in the middle of that runner board. And you want to sink these in pretty well, guys. I try to sink mine in about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, somewhere in there. Maybe not 1/4 of an inch, but sink them in. Don't be afraid to sink them. We're going to come back with wood putty later and cover up all these screws anyway. So you want them to be sunk in there so the putty has somewhere to go. I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna even all of these out with my bottom and basically just get them in place where I believe that they're gonna go, right? So once I got all these in place down here, we're all flush, just like on this one over here. We're flush on the end and we're flush at the bottom, okay? Next, I'm gonna put that second screw on the inside of this board, just like I did over here. Boom, so now we have both of our outside boards screwed into our first bottom runner board. From here, to make sure my nails are somewhat straight, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna grab my T-square and I'm gonna run just a very faint pencil line across. So that way I can keep my nails and my screws in a straight line. And I lied, guys, I'm not gonna use my T-square, I'm just gonna use this other board down here. So why get the T-square off? You don't need to, right? Boom, very, very faint line. You don't want to do anything too hard because you have to come back and sand it off later. And flip it around just like that. Easy peasy. And we're going to do the same exact steps that we just did over yonder. Now that I got both the sides, both the bottom side here and the side over here even with this last board on this side, just like before, we're going to put a screw in it. I like to flip my door over to where the front is facing up. The classic design, which is what we're going to be doing today, is going to be an X at the bottom, nothing at the top. For that design, you're going to want to offset this middle board because you don't want your bottom to be as tall as your top. So I'm going to do 43 from my top. I'm going to reach underneath here and I'm going to shoot a screw. Make sure I'm flush on the edge of this board. Reach underneath, shoot a screw right through. That's going to hold me in place. We got to do one side, we got to do the other side, right? I'm going to flip this bad boy around. Tighten that puppy down till you get square and flush right here with the outside of your board, right? So that looks pretty good to me right there. I'm going to bring this bad boy out and do the same thing. I'm going to shoot 2 screws right through the middle. Here and go piece by piece. So one right here, one right here, one right here, one right here. You got your 2 top pieces cut. This is where I like to use a rubber mallet. Granted, I probably need a cleaner one, but it is what it is. I like to do one end at a time. Put one corner in at a time. And you want it to be tight. You know, you don't want to have gaps right here that you're going to have to come back and fill in with wood filler. So if you got to force it in there a little bit, that's all right. That's good. Alrighty, and now I'm going to shoot 1 screw right about here, 1 screw right about here, but from underneath I want same thing, screw right here, and another one right in the middle. Alright, so now we're going to do 2 down here, 1 right here, 1 right here. Let's have some fun, guys. So we're at 26 and a half. And 26 and a half. Man, ain't that square. That's awesome. We gotta put our X on here. I'll show you how to do that. So at this point, what I have done is put my crossboard along sideways. Lined it up, line my speed square up with the edge of whatever board that it's crossing. So for this board, I lined it up over here, put my speed square, and just traced it. We're going to take our scrap board that we just cut with, because we know that should be the correct angle, knowing that it fit. We're just going to lay it up there. We're going to mock it. So we're going to lay it up there. That's flush on this end over here. Come up here, move it to where we need it. See how it looks on this end. Looks all right. Mark it. From here, you got to cut your middle out. So what I like to do, I like to mark. I mark right here. And I'll mark right here. Come on the other side, do the same thing. Right there. Right there. Then, take your board, flip it, line up your notches, right? So I know I got one right here, and one way over here. There's one side of our board. I got one right here, and one over here. That should be our crossover. Now how we can check, see if that will work, gotta be a piece of scrap. Put it on there, see, does it fit inside? Is it a little awkward? We don't fit? What we got going on here? Looks pretty close, guys. You know, take that board and give her a slice. See what we come up with. So I'm going to go ahead, start that section of the video. We're going to sand all of our putty down. And then after we sand, I'm going to break out the router with my 1/4 inch round over bit. We're going to come back, router all these edges, flip the table over. I'm going to sand a little bit of them joints like I was talking about earlier. And then I'm going to router this top side. And after that, we have stain, and then we're done. 80 grit Diablo sandpaper. You will need to change your pads probably a couple times before you get done sanding. I usually go through about 3 to 4 pads per door. So after you get your backside pretty much sanded down how you want it, I go ahead and I do my sides as well. I do the bottom, the top, and the sides, just keeping your orbital sander flat, just to get rid of anything sticking out, any little burrs or anything like that. I do that before I do my round over bit. Alrighty guys, so we got all the sanding done that we need to. We're going to go in with our 1/4 inch round over bit on our router, and we're going to round out all the edges so that way they don't splinter, they don't crack, and it's a little softer for the touch. We're going to flip it over, do the same thing to the front. Alright guys, now we're at the easiest part of the project, down to stain. I like to use a 6-inch premium nip roller. This helps grab the stain, holds a lot while you're going. Any size brush just to get your nooks and crannies, all the little cracks and stuff like that. You want to be able to get in there and get good penetration. And then I like to keep terry towels around the shop. You get like a 75 pack for like $30 at Home Depot. Just so you don't go through so many paper towels as quickly, and they work a little bit better. So we're going to clean up the excess with these. Now at this point, you got everything stained so far except for the front. If you have access to gloves, definitely recommend. Like I said, we're going to be wiping off this excess with terry towels, so you will get your hands dirty if you don't have gloves. Fun fact though, for all that don't know, if you get stain or paint on your hands, you got a little WD-40 lying around, spray some on your hands, it'll come right off. As long as you're doing this all in one session, it's fine. If you do one side one day and the next side you think you're going to finish on another day, be sure to come back, check the other side of your door for leaks. Because if you don't wipe this while it's wet, if it dries and these little parts where it's leaked through dry before you put another coat on, or kind of mix it in like I'm doing now, then those little blotches will show up whenever you do the next application of stain to your side that you didn't do yet. Alright guys, and the last step is you're going to want to stand your door up. I like to put a piece of wood at the bottom. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but there is a piece of scrap wood underneath. You might probably will have some stain that's going to run through the cracks of your boards. You see right here, it's running through a little bit. So as you stand it up, you're going to want to double check, make sure you're checking all the areas that could be trimmed. And just watch it. Look at the back side, see if anything has created any pools or dripped out. This is our finished product. Thank you for watching today. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. This is going to be the hardware that we're going to use. I get it from Amazon, Smart Standard. This particular hardware is going to come with a door handle with a recessed handle on the back side, so you can still open it from if you're shutting it. And say this is going, I think this is going on a master bathroom door. So that way, if somebody's in the bathroom, they can still reach out and open the door. It's going to come with, I think I got the bigger size rollers on this one, which will look like, I believe it has these rollers. So if you can picture that on both sides. It's going to have a floor guide that goes into the trim. So yeah, altogether I spent, with the hardware, everything to make the door, I'd say right around 300 bucks. 280 to 300 bucks, and you can have yourself a barn door. So this concludes this DIY project. Please join me on the next one. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.